of Greater Seattle. He's been the executive director since 2006. Michael, who's a Catholic, has been involved in faith-based advocacy and organizing for over 25 years, including immigrant rights, civil rights, homelessness, peace and justice, and several other related issues. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks to all of you for your ongoing work and commitment on these matters. The Senate Democrats' unveiling of the excessive, brutal, and dehumanizing interrogation techniques and the covering up of their perpetration raises serious questions about the moral health of our democracy. While thanking Senator Feinstein for the release of this report and her own outrage over the findings, the culture of deception and impunity of the CIA and those associated with them has continued to fester with no public scrutiny. Let us hope that the courageous issuance of this report will change that. As people of faith under the umbrella of the Washington State Campaign Against Torture, we will examine this report in its breadth and depth, share with others, and call for action to dismantle the system that has allowed for enhanced interrogation, torture, waste of taxpayer dollars, and diminished credibility throughout the world. Our God is a God that recognizes first and foremost the dignity of every human being as God's creature. She or he has an inherent value and worth, not as a source of information to be extracted by brutal and violent means, but as people who are human, with sufferings and dreams. When this fundamental principle, the basis of human rights, is violated, we all ultimately pay a price. People are seen as tools and commodities, robbed of their humanity, and our country's fabric as a place of freedom and civic participation is torn. The history of torture and enhanced interrogation techniques being connected with U.S. entities and the CIA is not new. In El Salvador in the 1980s, at a time with the U.S. providing military aid training and officials, it has been documented that the Salvadoran military and death squad used 42 different types of torture on Salvadoran civilians who struggled against oppression. Today, with the issuance of this report, we have clear accounts of torture that afford us, in the words of the Jesuit priest John Sobrino, first to be honest with reality. When the truth of interrogation techniques purchased from private firms for, in one case, $81 million comes to light, it is our moral responsibility to ensure that it ultimately bends towards justice. This means unmasking the lies that hide brutal practices, the gross violation of human rights, and the impunity that comes from dehumanizing and demonizing those considered other. We must call out who is accountable for these operations, even while we are reminded of the war in Iraq, which was promulgated on false pretenses. Such wars whose perpetuation are made to be seen as justifying grotesque violence. While the current president has banned such practices, until justice stemming from a Truth and Accountability Commission takes place, the public may once again be blinded from covert torture tactics beyond the boundary of legality. After all, we signed the Convention on Torture in 1984, while still ignoring morality. Ending torture is a holy commitment. Torture is criminal in all its forms and has no legitimacy. The test of our democracy lies with respect to how we treat others, even in conflict. At the end of 2014, there is a single tragic cloth of interrogation abuses, racism, and profiling based on religion and ethnic origin. This shroud needs to be dissolved, and the fabric of justice that can make America America once again must be resuscitated as our outer garment and our inner conviction. The Christian community will celebrate shortly the birth of Jesus, who was honored, though put to death by the Roman Empire by torture and crucifixion. The wounds that our country bears from the revelation of this report can turn into a lament that cries out, "Torture from our land, never again." Thank you.